What mandated reporters should know about racial disproportionality in child welfare. Child abuse and neglect exist in every racial and ethnic group, every culture, every economic class, in every cross-section of our society. Abused and neglected children often rely upon a caring adult to speak up on their behalf to stop the abuse. Mandated reporters are those who are required by law to call Child Protective Services if there is reason to believe a child is being abused or neglected. As a mandated reporter, you are often a vulnerable child's first defense against ongoing victimization. More than 60% of all incoming CPS calls alleging abuse or neglect come from mandated reporters. Mandated reporters are those people who are likely to have direct contact with children as the result of their job or volunteer activities. People such as doctors, police officers, social workers, child care providers, teachers, counselors, and others are all mandated reporters. For a complete list of mandated reporters, refer to the Mandated Reporters Guide referenced at the end of this video. In child welfare, the word disproportionality means that certain groups of people are either overrepresented or underrepresented in our system when compared to their peer group in the general population. Did you know that in our state and across the nation, children of color are overrepresented in the child welfare system at alarming rates? African American children are almost twice as likely to be the subjects of abuse allegations as are white children, and once a call comes in about an African American child, it is more likely to be substantiated, and that child is more likely to be removed from home and stay away from home longer than a white child. For American Indian children, the rate is almost 3 times as many allegations of abuse or neglect than white children, and the likelihood that they will go home or be adopted is much less than white children. Hispanic children and Asian Pacific American children may also be the victims of abuse or neglect. In some communities, they too are overrepresented in the child welfare system. Did you know that families of color are more likely to interact with mandated reporters? Therefore, they are more likely to be subjected to bias based upon how they look. It is absolutely critical that as a professional interacting with children on a regular basis, you understand your responsibilities as a mandated reporter and act accordingly. Check yourself. Ask yourself, have I always called CPS to report my concerns of abuse or neglect when I believed that a child was in danger? It is vital that you do not hesitate to call CPS if you truly believe any child is in harm's way due to abuse or neglect. Check yourself. Ask yourself this question: all things being equal, would I make the same call in the same way if I saw the exact same things happening in a white family? Often cultural differences equate to parenting differences. One culture may speak to their children in a manner that seems louder, harsher, or less familiar to a mandated reporter. But those cultural differences in parenting may not constitute abuse or neglect. Check yourself. We all harbor personal biases. Whether we like to admit it or not, we cannot grow up in America without being bombarded with images and messages that are driven by racism, prejudice, or racial privilege that we may not even be aware of. Think about the messages that have infiltrated your belief system. Be honest with yourself. Do you believe, even just a little bit, that Native American people actively seek government handouts rather than jobs? Do you believe that most Hispanic people are in this country illegally? Do you buy into the notion that African American men are more likely to be aggressive, or that all Asian women are passive? Do you worry that different racial or ethnic groups are somehow a threat to your personal prosperity or security? Have you ever reached over and locked the doors to your car when approaching a group of people who are of a different race than you? These questions are not intended to blame. They are meant to get us all thinking about how those beliefs and biases we may not even realize are there influence our thoughts and actions as mandated reporters. Check yourself. Take a moment to do a little internal self-assessment. On a scale of 1 to 10, how culturally competent would you say you are? Do you think those around you would agree? How important is it to you to invest time and energy to improving your level of cultural awareness, sensitivity, and competence? Could you do more? Are you willing to learn more? Never second-guess yourself if you have reason to believe that a child has been abused or neglected. However, if there is a question in your mind and the family involved happens to be a family of color, check yourself. You are a mandated reporter. You make a difference in the life of vulnerable children. Children's Administration can't do the work we do without you. We thank you for your dedication to safety and quality of life for all children. Check yourself. If you believe any child is the victim of abuse or neglect, call 1-866-END-HARM. That's 1-866-363-4276. It's the law. For more information about racial disproportionality and disparity in the Washington State Child Welfare System, go to dshs.wa.gov/ca/about/disproportion.asp or call 360-902-7743. For more information about mandated reporters in Washington State and how to identify the signs of child abuse and neglect, go to www.dshs.wa.gov/pdf/22-163.pdf to read Protecting the Abused and Neglected Child. For general information about child welfare, foster parenting, and adoption, visit our website at dshs.wa.gov/ca. You could be the one person to stop a child's suffering. Take the time to learn more, to get involved, to make that call.